Hello and welcome to this first series in a video of looking at sentences. Today we're going to start looking at clauses and the middle one on this ranking scale of clause elements. If you look, there's a couple of visuals here. So at the bottom we've got the smallest grammatical unit, which is morpheme, and a morpheme is a part of a word, and a part of a word makes a word. So above that, that's the next grammatical unit, is a word. That should be, you should all be pretty familiar with what words are. And next is clause elements, and clause elements might be made of just a single word or maybe a phrase, but we call them the clause element either way, and you can actually refer to a single word as a phrase when talking about the clause elements. And then clause elements make up a clause, and one or more clause makes a sentence. Don't worry if you don't know exactly what those are at this point in time. Hopefully by looking through examples and me talking through certain things, you should be able to grasp what they are. So the first thing we're going to look at is right in the middle, which is clause elements. This is because you can break them down to then look at words and look at morphemes, or you can go up from that to look at whole clauses and then sentences. Okay, so these are your clause elements. Now, there is a slight caveat to this, that some of the information here is slightly simplistic and there are exceptions to some things that I've written, but as a general rule this is what we're going with for now. So the subject is normally at the beginning of a clause and is the theme or topic of the clause, and normally it is a noun or a noun phrase that is doing or being the verb. That does have an exception, but we'll stick with that for now. Verb, an action, sensation or state of being. An object, a noun or noun phrase which is acted upon by the subject, so the thing is happening to the object, not by the object. Adverbial adds extra information about the verb being carried out. Complement gives further information about another element, so that would be generally the subject or the object, as if it was the verb it would be the adverbial. Okay, don't worry, again, if you're not 100% on that, come back to this once we've looked at some examples. So here are some examples, and the examples I put in the 7 basic clause types. So in every type the subject is the monster. The first one is a simple subject-verb clause, which is the monster roared. The second one is a subject-verb-object, the monster threw the table, the throwing being the action of the monster, which is why the monster is the subject. The table isn't doing anything, but it is being thrown, so it's happening to the table, not by the table, which is why that is the object. If we were to switch that sentence around, the table was being thrown by the monster, that would then be the subject of the sentence rather than the object. Subject verb complement. So this one, the monster was ready, was being the verb, ready talking about the monster, it's describing the monster, therefore it is a complement. Subject verb adverbial, the monster lives under the bed. The monster subject, living is what they're doing, and where do they live? They live under the bed, so that is giving more information to what to their living, and therefore it is the adverbial. Subject verb object object, the monster gave me a fright. The monster is subject, gave is what they did, me is the first object, and then a fright is the second object. A fright isn't an adverbial here because it's not to do with the giving. So if it was the monster, I can't think of another example off the top of my head now. But anyway, it's so that is another object at the end. Next, subject, verb, object, complement. The monster made the wall crumble. The monster, made being the verb, the wall, and this time the complement's slightly different to the complement above because it's complementing the object rather than the subject. It's saying that the wall is crumbling. It's not the monster that's crumbling, it is complementing the object. And then subject, verb, object, adverbial. The monster threw my friend out of the window. The monster subject, because that's doing the throwing. Then throwing is the verb. The object that they're throwing is my friend. And where are they throwing? Out of the window. Okay, so this is a table that I've filled out. Actually, I'll go to the blank table first. So there's a blank table, and what you can do is you can print screen this or copy this, write this down, print some of it out, and try to write an example of each of the clause patterns. I've done some examples for you, which I just showed you. So, for example, the subject in this one is a full phrase. It's a small, cramped room, and what's it doing? It's stinking. So the small, cramped room stank, and that is subject verb. I was running the marathon. Was running. Again is a verb phrase this time. The object is the marathon. And the next one, also I've missed out the object. So because I don't want an object in this sentence, so I've just missed that gap. And then the young girl was surprisingly tall. And you can have a look at the rest of it yourself. There's no point in me talking it through. So once you've had a look, try and use that to write some examples of your own clauses based on that. Okay, and I will leave you with that activity. Thank you.